The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of Para-X, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
The following program contains opinions expressed by the Dead Zone. If you find this broadcast offensive, lighten up, candy ass.
What?
Oh my gosh.
It's a radio show.
Hell yeah! That's what I'm talking about.
Initialize sequence now.
We're now in the approach phase. Everything looking good. Manual good to go. Good. 5. Roger. Copy. 3. 2, 1. Engage.
Dead Zone WDZRDB Worldwide. Welcome to the Dead Zone Paranormal Radio Show.
Dead Zone, September 27th. Fall is here. Are you ready for that? Ready for the nice, cool weather? I know I am. Tonight we're going to have Claudio Bergamin.
Oh my
Here
gosh.
I go again. A good friend of the show. He's a art bounty hunter, Boba Fett with a paintbrush. That's what he goes by. Tonight we're going to be talking about heavy metal art and the creative process. Plus, a few projects he has going on concerning the band Kiss. Now, that being said, one of our show regulars, John 5, is a huge Kiss fan. So, since we aren't licensed to play any Kiss, we'll do you one better. We're going to do a tribute to Kiss by playing John 5. Oh, in case you didn't know, our very own Scott Blake is the one that makes John's stage mask, and he's also the one that came up with the concept that I did the poster of for the classic Kiss Unmasked limited edition. I think those are sold out there, but you can go check out the site, though. Go to john5.com. From the self-titled album Midnight Mass, this is John 5 and the Creatures. Let's do one more. This one is from the guy that John took over for when Rob Zombie left White Zombie. Does that make any sense? Anyway, this is Riggs, otherwise known as Scum of the Earth. Get your dead on.
Will you love me forever? I'll love you till the day I die.
This is Rick McCullum of the Hollywood Ghost Hunters, and you're listening to The Dead Zone.
Dead Zone WDZRTV worldwide.
Okay, and now back to business.
All right, Claudio Bergamin, Boba Fett with a paintbrush. Let's get him on the phone right now. Just one moment. Well, we're waiting. Well, he is kind of far away, so we'll try again. Claudio. Hello. Finally, yeah. I don't know why that happened. I don't know what was going on there.
It doesn't ring.
It doesn't ring. No kidding.
it doesn't ring. So I just, unless I'm actually looking at the phone directly, I don't see it. I mean, I can.
That's crazy. Do me a favor. You're gonna have to speak up. You're gonna get real close to your phone there because you're really
Okay, like that.
Yeah.
Let me,
you
know what? That's not gonna work. Let me get headphones.
Okay. Yeah, put it on speakerphone if you can, something like that. Yeah, because I mean it's really hard to hear you. Still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Okay. Gremlins. I'm telling you guys, we always have problems with gremlins. I'm sorry, say again?
How's that?
It's the same. You've got to get right on the phone, or right up on that speaker.
It's the same. How can you do the same?
That's crazy. I don't know. That's even worse. You're far away now.
All right, is that better?
That's much better. Yeah, let's go with that. Okay. Let's do that. Okay. Like I said, we are recording right now, and of course, we have these problems all the time. I've used my soft phone, and it's okay. I use Messenger now, what we're on right now, and it's still I don't get it. I really don't get it. But anyway, Claudio Bergamin, The Art of Claudio Bergamin, and I didn't know this, man. You illustrate a comic book as well.
Oh yeah, I haven't done that in a while, and I'm not sure I'm ever going to do it again.
Oh really? Okay. Why?
It's too much work.
Too much
work, and what I do is, just when I accepted that project,
right.
I've always been a comic book fan. I have comic books. I read comic books all the time.
Absolutely.
But then when I started doing it, I realized I preferred to read them instead of doing them.
Right.
And
and you
it's just because of the nature of my style.
Right. And you kind of
it's very detailed.
Right.
It's just it takes forever to do a comic book. And everybody kept saying, "Why don't you simplify it?
Right.
Just make it more simple," but I just can't.
Right.
It's the way. It's just the way my what I do comes out.
Right. The way. You do things your way, and that's the way you like them. And if it's not your way, if it's not suitable to you, then you don't want people looking at it, right?
Right. Yeah, I've seen some artists that do very elaborate comic books, very detailed, like I don't know, Alex Ross.
Yeah.
But I have no idea how he does it. It's just because it's so detailed, and he seems to produce a ton of artwork.
Oh yeah.
So maybe he's just faster than me. So I don't know.
Right. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, I grew up on comic books. I collected them. I've given my son my collection from way back in the day, and it's amazing how the artistry has went from what it used to be to what it is now. You know what I mean? How much?
Oh yeah, there's tons of talent out there. I mean,
oh yeah, absolutely.
There are some young artists that blow my mind. It's just, it's and it's not that they're very talented, elaborate comic books weren't done before.
Right.
I mean, Neil Adams was great in the 70s, and he was as good as any of the ones that are just out there today.
Out there today, yeah.
But it wasn't just that. It wasn't that common. That's what I was trying to say.
Right.
Neil was the best, and you would it was all over the place. I mean, if you picked a comic book in the 70s, some artwork might be not as good, some might be very crappy, and then some other artwork will be great, like Neil Adams.
Yeah, just blow you away. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think. In my opinion, this is my opinion. I think now here I'm gonna go blank. It was he broke away from Marvel, broke away from Stan to do Dark Horse. What was his name? He did Spider-Man. Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Todd McFarlane.
McFarlane, yes, absolutely. I love his artwork. I think it's great, and he went on to do Dark Horse and Spawn and all that kind of thing. I love those comics. Just the books themselves.
Yeah, but you do know what happened what happened to all of those guys once they founded Image Comics?
No. What happened?
Well, there's a documentary about it. You should look for it. I'll send you the link later. I can't remember the title of the documentary.
Okay.
But basically what happened was all of this artist, Rob Liefeld, Todd McFarlane, and the other guy.
Rob Liefeld and Todd McFarlane. I remember those guys. If you say it, I'll remember it. Guarantee you.
Yeah, no, never mind. It escapes me now. But anyways, these guys became like artist superstars, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they got invitations to go to TV shows and conventions and all that, and all of them, without exception, were late in their titles, meaning they couldn't cope with being a rock star and just respect the deadline.
Be on schedule, yeah. Be on schedule.
The titles were late, all of them in the 90s.
Right.
And that's because you cannot deliver that level of artistry if you're not working 10 hours a day, and they weren't.
Absolutely. Yep, I agree with you. Yeah. I love that. I love the old talking about your covers like you do. I mean, I used to do acrylics and oils and that kind of thing, back in the day. But I loved my all-time favorite was always Frazetta, and I love the fact that they used his artwork for the Conan covers sometimes. Yeah.
Well, it's fair to say that Frazetta started the new age of fantasy illustration. There is a before and after Frank Frazetta. He updated it. He injected a fresh of a sort of dynamic and action to the illustration that didn't exist before. It was like I said, it was before and after him.
Right. I mean, and I still, to this day, I still love it. I mean, one of my favorite. I actually, I know, I shouldn't have done this, but I printed out. I can't remember the name of it, but the iconic one, not the one on album covers. it was Against the Gods. I printed that out and made a big poster of it and put it on my wall for years. Love that. If you remember that one, anyway.
I can't remember that one.
Yeah.
By title, but.
It was basically just a man on a mountain holding a sword in the air.
Holding a sword with a lightning bolt.
Yes.
Yeah. I love that one. It's
yes,
great.
That was awesome. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, you know what? That's really cool. The last time we saw you were with Travis Walton, and that was, 2 years ago? Was it 2 or 3 years ago?
Weren't you at that horror convention in Indianapolis?
Right, Horror Hound. Right.
So that was last year.
That was last year? Man, I'm getting old. Yeah. I thought it was longer ago than that.
It was September last year.
That was September, okay. And
a year ago. A year ago.
It was exactly a year ago. Wow. Man, I'm getting old. But not only did you do artwork for him, but you have a series out now, and it's very cool because just because it's very cool. And because it's one of my favorite bands, Kiss. And you're talking with the art director, Dennis Wallach, is it? Did I pronounce that right? Okay.
Dennis Wallach.
From 1974 to 1988, doing the covers and things. How does that go, man? That's got to be exciting for you. I mean, I love that. I mean, you and I talked. There's an age difference between us. You started out without the makeup. I started, with the makeup. And one of my favorites is still and always will be Alive. Favorite album. But how did that go, man? Tell us a little bit about that.
I reached out to Dennis about 2 years ago, actually, because I found him on Facebook, and or he found me. I don't remember exactly who added who, but anyways,
all right.
He was on Facebook, and I noticed that he started clicking like on some of my artwork.
Right, of course.
That's pretty cool. This guy worked with Ken Kelly and some of the best artists around, and he likes what I do. So I just, out of pure, emotion, I just reached out to say, hey, I'm a fan. Would you be willing to talk about your experience designing the album covers for Kiss? And he said, sure, why not? That was 2 years ago.
Right.
And then I had so many things going on that I just couldn't do it at the time.
All right.
So a few months ago, I just sent him a message asking the same thing. Hey, do you remember 2 years ago? And would you be willing to do that? And he said, yes, sure. So this time I had to be quicker. Once you have you have the bird in your hand, you can let it go, right?
Right.
So so I quickly started doing some research, because even though I know a lot of trivia facts about Kiss, there's always more to discover.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So I started to researching on the internet, reading about each album, the artists who did the illustrations, or
right.
Any bit of information I could find.
Right.
And we just I called him on Zoom and we started doing it, and it's a lot of work though. There's a certain amount of research that has to be done before each episode, and then
right.
quite a bit of editing afterwards. So it's a good couple of days work for each episode.
Right. Now, I love them all. I really do. Like I say, one of my favorite was Alive, but some of the album covers were artwork, which were I love Destroyer, right? Mm-hmm. What was the other? I can't remember now. It's
Love Gun.
Love Gun. Oh yeah. But some were photography too. Now,
well, that was the job of the art director.
Right.
The art, whenever something that required typography, lettering, or just doing a kind of advertising type of layout, Dennis would do it.
Right.
Like he did Alive 2, he did Alive 1
Right.
personally. He was the one hands-on doing it. He also did double platinum.
Double platinum, one of my favorites. Love that. Yes.
Right. He designed all of those himself. Dynasty as well.
Right.
But when the time came to do other disciplines like photography or illustration, he would hire the best for it.
Right. He would farm.
I'm sure he's capable of doing it himself.
Yeah.
But he was humble and professional enough to say, look, there's people that are better than me to do this.
Right.
So I'm gonna hire this person. I mean, Kiss deserves the best.
All right.
So when time came to do Destroyer,
right.
It was his idea. It was his idea, not Gene, not Paul's, to hire Ken Kelly.
Okay.
And now the original idea was to hire Frank Frazetta.
Oh
right?
Man, yeah.
Or if you watched, did you watch the Destroyer episode?
No, I haven't been able to watch anything, man. Yeah.
Watch that episode. The story is fascinating.
Yeah.
They tried to get Frazetta, but he wanted a ridiculous amount of money.
Oh, of course, yeah. Well.
And plus he was just putting a ridiculous restrictions on the artwork. Like you can't use it for this, you can't use it for that, and Dennis was saying to him, dude, that's not going to fly. They need to do T-shirts, posters, merchandise, placement, so
right.
Just that fell to the wayside pretty quickly.
Right.
And this comes the weird part of the story.
Mm-hmm.
It was like walking around Manhattan, just not knowing what to do, really. I mean, he was back to square one.
Mm-hmm.
So I walked into this comic book store, and he was like just looking around, looking everywhere, looking at the covers of the comic books, just trying to look for something, right?
Right.
And he found this issue of Creepy Magazine. Remember Creepy Magazine?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yes.
Yeah, okay. So he grabbed this Creepy Magazine issue with a robot on the cover.
Okay.
And he was kind of an old-fashioned type of robot from kind of those old serials from the 1940s, like old,
right.
Very Art Deco with lots of circle shapes on him.
Right, old, yeah.
But it was the style and the expression of the robot's face that caught his attention. So he bought the magazine, and didn't say anywhere on the magazine who was the artist on the cover. He had the signature, but he couldn't read the name on the signature. Because back then Ken used to do this weird signature that he couldn't read it.
Right.
Really.
Right.
So he called the editor of the magazine. And he said, oh yeah, that's Ken Kelly, and I'm his manager. And Dennis was, no, you're not. Just give me his number,
Right.
So, and finally convinced him to give him his number, and he called him, and it turned out that Ken Kelly was related by marriage with Frank Frazetta.
Are you kidding? No kidding.
Frazetta was married to Ken's aunt.
Wow.
So how about that for fate?
Yeah, small world, right?
Yeah.
Amazing.
So everything, comes around. And Ken was, I think Frazetta was in his mid-50s in 1976.
Yeah.
And Ken was way younger. Ken was in his maybe late 20s,
20s, yeah,
30s.
something like that, yeah. Yeah. Wow. That is cool. That is very cool. Huh. So, there was one thing I wanted to ask you again. I can't remember what it was.
Okay. You should make a list.
I know, right? I know. I'm so
a questionnaire. Come on.
I'm so unprepared for everything. The series again. The series again. You're on your. I think I saw it was like part 6. Is that right?
Yeah. Double platinum.
Double platinum.
Next episode, part 7, is going to be the solo albums.
Oh yeah. What do you think about those?
So
I mean, I know you're.
We're doing it in chronological order. So we started with Alive, which was the first album cover Dennis designed for Kiss. He was semi-involved from the first record on, but he didn't work on Hotter Than Hell and Dressed to Kill.
Right.
So
now, Hotter Than Hell, that album that was a combination of photography and artwork, superimposed. Hotter Than Hell.
Oh yeah. It's kind of a collage type of thing.
Yeah.
It has a photo and it's kind of cut out photo and with sort of Japanese type of artwork. Right. I like that cover. It's nothing that I would do, but it's very interesting.
Right. It's quite a bit different than
you know what? That is what makes the Kiss artwork so interesting, because all the covers are different. They're different styles, different artists.
Right. I can tell you one. I don't know what your opinion on this one is, because you came in after me. Music-wise, I liked a few of the songs. The cover was okay. It was The Elder. Do you remember that one?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah. Ken was, Dennis was in charge of that one, too. He did all of the Kiss covers up to Crazy Nights.
Right.
So he did that one, too. I think they ordered a door, like custom made.
Oh yeah.
For it.
Really? Just for that?
I think it was custom made. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that, but I think Dennis. We talked on the phone one day, and he hinted that.
Really?
But we haven't got to that episode yet. We have two albums before that, Dynasty and Must.
Right.
So we're gonna do those 2 before, and then we're gonna get to The Elder.
Right.
And then all of the '80s records, just because the '80s Kiss is my favorite era. That's my era.
Right.
I was a teenager when Crazy Nights came out.
Right.
So that was my first Kiss record. That was the first record that came out when I was aware of the band.
So you're saying that it's been so long. I used to have it on cassette, of course. The Elder. That
Which
wasn't
one?
The Elder. The Elder. That wasn't a painting. That was a photograph.
It's a photograph. Yes, and the hand is it's Paul's hand.
Oh, was it really? No
Paul's
kidding.
hand, yeah.
No kidding. Yeah, Speaking of the Dynasty tour, back when I was in Arkansas, I lived in Arkansas. I worked as room service at a Holiday Inn, and they came in town. And I got the honor and privilege of being room service for the band. Oh, wow. They had the whole floor. The whole floor was theirs, and I was just ignorant, awestruck. You know what I mean? It was great.
Did they open the door with masks and sunglasses to cover their faces?
No, dude. They just let me walk in, and there were so many people in there. You didn't know who was who, because I didn't know what they looked like back then either.
So you saw them, but you weren't sure which one was Paul or Gene or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it was so long ago, and then the following morning, down in the lobby, they did a meet and greet for their concert they did at the convention center.
Okay.
And makeup, of course, yeah.
In makeup. Oh, so you saw them in makeup in the Dynasty tour.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was really cool. It really was.
That costume, Gene's costume from that tour, to me, it looked so fucking uncomfortable.
Yeah.
To me, it seems like he was wearing some kind of
balled up tinfoil.
To me, it looked like shellfish. like one of those giant crab. But it looks so fucking uncomfortable. I don't know how he was comfortable playing with that 2 hours every night.
Right, I have no idea. I mean, to me, like I say, it looked to me like it was just crumpled up tinfoil all over his body. I don't know, but
I think it was. I'm going to ask Dennis about that. I'm sure he knows.
Yeah.
But I think I read somewhere that he was made of fiberglass.
That was made of fiberglass, really. Mm. Well, so was the armor too, right? I mean, the spiked armor from.
No, the armor. Yeah. You mean the armor from from the destroyer era?
Yes.
That was actually, I don't know if all of it, but parts of it. It was leather.
Really?
It was rigid leather, painted to simulate metal, and some of the parts were just plastic.
Really?
Plastic and leather.
Huh. Well, I remember,
you can get leather. You can get leather to be rigid. Like
you get it wet and let it dry.
So I think all the arms components were leather. And some of the other parts were plastic.
Okay.
The dragon boots with the scales.
Yeah.
That was definitely leather because he had to be flexible.
Oh yeah. That's another thing.
It was leather painted silver.
That always fascinated me. The fact that they wore these 8-inch stacks, right? And they could run up and down those stairs like nobody's business. I'm sure someone had to have wiped out at least 100 times during rehearsal. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. If you know anything about Kiss, they used to rehearse in those boots at a certain point it becomes second nature. But however, I have seen video of Gene tripping on the hills like early on.
Yeah.
Late, afterwards. I mean, after so many years, you get used to it. But I remember there's a few shots of Gene tripping on the boots during the Alive era.
Yeah. Didn't Ace fall at one point too?
I'm sure they fall.
I mean, during a concert, I thought I'd heard that he took a spill.
I think there's footage of Ace falling on his butt during the reunion tour in '97.
Right. All right. So, well, okay. Yeah. Now I'm gonna go back to your series. What did you think about? I kind of like the album, but not a real fan of the cover. It's kind of weird and different. Dressed to Kill. What do you think about that?
I don't know too much about it. I know it was a picture they took in New York, and he has become a landmark for Kiss fans.
Yes.
Every time they go to New York, they go to that pole and reproduce a picture.
Right.
I know that they didn't have suits. They didn't own suits. None of the members of the band. So they borrowed the suit from their manager, Bill O'Coin. So all those suits are Bill O'Coin's.
Oh, really?
And Bill was much shorter. And if you see closely, Gene's is very small.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't fit him.
No.
And so I know that. But if you also look at the cover, the background buildings, the New York skyline that's behind them, it's darkening it down. I don't know why they did that.
I don't know either. I mean,
it looks very weird. I would have used the picture as it was.
Yeah, it's like a green background with the picture itself in grayscale almost, right?
You can see the buildings through the blackened area.
Yeah.
I don't know why they did that. I would have used the picture raw.
Right.
But I like it. It was original, and the original one has an emboss effect on the Kiss logos all around it in that kind of frame it has.
Yeah.
So I think what they were trying to do is kind of a gangster portrait with a frame.
Oh yeah.
So that was what they were trying to do.
Right.
I think it's cool. It's original.
Yeah. It was way off from what you would expect from the other album covers. Is all I'm saying. Yeah. I mean, I love the album. It's great. Yeah. What am I saying? I love all the Kiss albums, but yeah.
It's the Dressed to Kill is probably the one that sounds the best, that has the best production from the first three.
Right. Yeah, and I don't think I have that one anymore. I think I've lost everything. I used to have everything on vinyl
I have like 3 copies of that.
You do? Well, damn. All right.
I have a Chilean edition, a German edition with the different logo, with the German logo.
Right.
And I have I think I have an original American edition, and I have the reissue. So 4, not 3.
Right.
There you go.
All right. Now, I'm going to keep talking about this.
Every time I go to a record store,
you look for the vinyl. Yeah,
store,
look for the vinyl.
If I run into a Kiss album, I just buy it. I can't help it.
You got to do it.
Even if I have
yeah.
it. You know?
Right. All right. I don't know what's happened to mine. It's been so long. I know I'm going to do it again. I want to get to you telling us how to get into what the ad was about. But dang it, this is so much fun talking to you about albums. One more. Why? Here's another one. For Animalize, would they just use skins?
Well, I think that was by the time the 80s, Kiss, got into the 80s.
Yeah.
I think Paul started to take a lot more control of the visual direction of the band, not just for the album covers, but also for wardrobe and stage design,
right,
and the videos. All of that, I think Paul was the main guy overseeing everything.
Now, see, I kind of agree with you. I think that could be the deal, but the way Gene is, openly, the way Gene is, he's not going to let anything go unless he says it's okay.
But he did. He did, because back in 84, 85, 86, he was sucked into the Hollywood world. In fact, it's well known.
Oh, the movies too. Yeah. What was it?
It is well known that he was missing in action during the recording of a lot of those records. Animalize.
Right.
Animalize. If it wasn't for those 3 or 4 crappy songs by Gene, it would be a Paul solo album.
No
Animalize
kidding.
was produced by Paul Stanley, and all of the songs that Gene wrote for that album, he left them half cooked on the studio, and Paul had to finish them.
No kidding.
So Animalize is almost a Paul Stanley solo record.
No kidding.
Gene was doing Runaway with Tom Selleck.
Runaway, no kidding. Yeah, was it Tom Selleck? Are you kidding me? No, are you sure? It wasn't Tom Selleck, was it? Runaway was.
It was Tom Selleck, yeah.
It was Tom Selleck. I thought it was.
Gene was the villain.
I thought it was a guy. I thought it was a guy from The Hitcher. I forgot his name.
That's another. You're confusing it. That's another movie. It's called Wanted Dead or Alive.
Okay.
With Rutger Hauer. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's from 1986.
Okay.
So you see, he was like throughout those years. And he's also in a Miami Vice episode.
Yeah.
He did another movie with John Stamos called Never Too Young to Die. A really bad movie.
Yeah. Imagine that, right? Yeah. Okay.
And so throughout 84, 85, 86 to 87, Gene was not very present in the studio while those records were being made.
No kidding.
He was wearing a wig during that time because he had short hair to act in those movies.
Yeah.
So all of the videos, live shots that you would see from Animalize, Asylum, and Crazy Nights,
right,
he was wearing a wig.
Wow. How about that? And of course they're wearing wigs, or at least Paul is wearing a wig now.
Well, I think nowadays they wear wigs because they don't want to go through all the hairspray and all that. So and I think it's not because they don't have hair. I know Paul has hair. I've seen him up close.
Right.
It's just they don't want to go through all of through the pain of just getting their hair.
Been there, done that.
25, when he was saying he had 25, he had a mane, like a natural mane.
Oh man, it was it was beautiful. Yeah,
So anyways, I'm sure that requires a lot of work that nowadays they don't want to go through.
A lot of Aquanet. Yeah.
It's just easier to wear a wig,
Right. Okay, man. Okay, we got just a few. I'm going to have you back on because I want to talk to you about what the show was supposed to be about. How do you get into the mindset and get ready to do a piece?
Yeah, you're right. We should do a whole show about that.
Yeah, I mean, because I understand because I work at a shop. I do artwork for people for T-shirts and all that kind of thing. Now, and I get hammered on all 3-4 sides, right? Different people wanting this, and they want it today, and they want this tomorrow, and they want this like this, and it's hard to just sit down and focus on getting into that piece of artwork that you're going to work on. Otherwise, it's going to be crap, right?
Yeah.
Right. So, just briefly, say you were contacted by a band, like, of course, Judas Priest. Like, you know that from, everyone knows that from the show that you were on the last time with us. How do you get into that mind frame?
Yeah, well, that is a very good question. It requires a fair amount of work because I don't know if any other artists could you just switch it on like
switch
that?
Gears, exactly. That's what I always say. That when they come to me, I cannot switch gears like that to do your thing. I can't.
That's true. I mean, I can't.
No.
I'm sure there are artists that can, but I can't.
No.
So just I can't switch it on from doing like domestic things like washing the dishes or feeding the dogs to switch gears to do a Judas Priest album cover. Usually when I'm working on a cover and I have to propose a new piece for a client, whether it's a rock band or an author or whoever it is, because I don't do just album covers.
All right.
I usually take a whole day, a couple of days that I don't do anything else.
You just think about it. You just think about it. You get into a mindset, right?
Exactly. So 80% of those 2 days is thinking, just thinking, not even sitting down to draw.
Right.
And the way I do it, I just grab whatever would inspire me. Either watching a movie or reading a book or listening to music. I just lock myself in my studio.
And say, leave me alone. Exactly.
Yeah, and just inhale everything I can that has to do with the subject matter that I have to tackle.
Right.
So if it's science fiction, I would grab some. I have a lot of art books, so I just grab art books and just go through the pages.
Just browse through them, yes.
Or go to the internet and just Google whatever, and just.
And you do that, and you do that for, like I do, I assume, you do that just for inspiration. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to see that
as
absolutely.
If I get a good idea, I just sit down immediately at the drawing table and start drawing and doodling something before I forget it.
Right.
And then if I'm not convinced, I just keep doing it until I get something good. If I hit a home run at the first attempt and I'm sure it's a good idea, I'll just send it right away. I take a picture with my phone and I send it to the client.
Right. Now,
if not, I just keep trying.
Are you like me? Do you work on a piece, you like it, you come back to it, and you just overwork it to the point to where you ruin it? No. Usually, when I get an idea, I just doodle it really quickly. See if it works. Right.
In a very basic way.
Right.
And whenever that has happened, it's not my fault. It's usually the client's fault.
Oh yeah.
They started asking me for changes and adding things that had nothing to do with what I originally envisioned. Yeah. So if that has happened, it wasn't because of me.
All right. No, that's not what I meant. I mean, doing something for yourself. You do a piece of artwork. You think it looks great. I like that. Okay. But wait, maybe if I do this, and maybe if I do this, and you keep doing that until the point to where it's ruined. You shouldn't have never. You know what I mean? Does that make any sense?
No. Like I said, no, not really. No, because whenever I get an idea and I like it, I just translate that original doodle into a refined version.
Okay. Right.
So if you look at, I posted a lot of my sketches.
I love them too.
You can follow the process from the doodle to the sketch and then to the final piece. There's very little change.
Right.
I mean, I might add an element or two here and there.
Right.
But the core of the idea is pretty much the same.
Right.
And you know what? it has to be that way, because if you show something to the client, you cannot change it. If you change it, then you're risking surprising the client, and they might not like it.
Right. If like for example, like you did the Judas Priest album, right? I mean,
yeah.
Let's talk about that for a moment. How did you come up with that concept? I mean, it kind of resembles a bit of what is it? Oh my gosh, Hellion, or is that right?
Oh, the Screaming for Vengeance.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of resembles that bird.
Well, that's not coincidence, because we wanted to incorporate firepower into that mythology.
Right.
I mean, that was the idea from the very beginning.
Right.
But I mean, it was Richie's idea. I mean, if you look at the Judas Priest covers from recent years, the ones that I didn't do, the ones that Mark Wilkinson did,
right?
They're all about the angels and the winged characters.
Oh yeah, Painkiller leaps to mind. Yeah,
Painkiller, the Angel of Retribution,
yeah.
The Epitaph character, and the Redeemer of Souls.
Right.
They're all inspired on the same cover, which is Sad Winds of Destiny.
Right.
So Mark Wilkinson, the way he sees Judas Priest is the winged character, the fallen angel.
Right.
That's not the way I see Judas Priest.
Okay.
To me, Judas Priest is all about the metal creature, the robots, the Transformers, and the science fiction.
Right.
Why? Because I'm way younger than Mark Wilkinson. Mark is probably the same age as the guys in the band.
Right.
So I'm sure his first Judas Priest album was Sad Wings of Destiny. My first Judas Priest album was Defenders of the Faith.
There you go.
To me, Judas Priest is 80s, is those metal creatures, the Hellion, the Battalion, the Painkiller. That's what Judas Priest is about for me.
Right. So once again, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Not just for me, for Richie too. Richie's younger than me. Richie's 38, I think, 40. So
wow, he's so old.
Yeah. Defenders of the Faith is his favorite Judas Priest record. So when the time came, and he started feeding me with ideas for the album cover, he said, "Dude, we should do this. We should recapture that 80s vibe, but the other guys, Rob, Glenn, and Ian, made very clear that they didn't want the cover to look 80s.
Really?
They wanted it to look modern and up to date.
Yeah.
So they didn't want me to imitate Doug Johnson's style, which is the guy who did those covers.
Right.
They didn't want me to do Art Deco, and they didn't want me to do any of those characters. It had to be a new character.
Yeah.
It had to look modern.
Right.
Meaning it has to be my own style.
Right.
And it has to be part of the series, but it has to be new and fresh.
Right.
So there was a lot of things to consider to keep that balance,
Right.
So it took us, several months for me and Richie to cook that out. I mean, I can't take all the credit. I designed the creature, but it was all based on ideas that Richie sent me. So
right.
It was all his concept.
Yeah, so it was a collaboration from the band, which that's the way it should be, right? That way you don't get in trouble.
Right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he was trying to sell this idea to the other guys,
right?
Because the other guys weren't convinced. They actually commissioned
another one behind your back. No kidding.
No, not behind my back.
Okay.
What happened was they commissioned a cover from Mark that they didn't like, and they were like back to square one. He delivered a cover which completely done, finished. They didn't like. They thought it wasn't good enough, or the concept didn't fit the album. I don't know.
Right.
And Richie suggested, I think the title was different. I think it was based on another song. I don't know which.
Okay.
But Richie suggested the song Firepower as a title for the album.
Right.
And then Rob said, well, if we do Firepower, then we need a different cover.
Right.
He said, I have a friend.
There you go.
So he called me and said, dude, they didn't like what Mark proposed, so we're against the clock. You have to propose like something really soon. And I said, all right. And I remember it was a Friday.
Mm-hmm.
It took me Saturday and Sunday to come up with the idea, sketched it out, put color in it, and I sent it Monday morning.
Right.
By Monday evening, it was already decided. That's the cover.
There you go. Wow. Now, Defenders of the Faith was the big cat cover, right? The
yes.
metallic cat. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Thinking out loud. Very cool. All right.
Doug Johnson did 3 album covers for the band: "Screaming for Vengeance," "Defenders of the Faith," and "Turbo."
Right.
The same artist.
Right.
And then enter for the next record.
And you can tell.
Down.
Yeah, you can tell.
Sorry?
You can tell the difference between the artist and the albums.
Right. And then for the next one, "Ram It Down," which came out in '88.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first cover Mark did for Judas Priest, and then that led to a 25-year marriage between the band and Mark, because he did all of the album covers until I came along.
Until you came along. See ya. Very cool.
Yeah.
One of my favorites, and again, it's a photograph, and if you tell me it's Rob Halford's hand, I'm going to lose my mind. British still.
It's not Rob's hand.
Okay, all right.
It's the artist's hand.
It is, really.
The guy who did the cover. I can never pronounce his name. It was a Polish artist. I think it's Wrocław Slivo.
Okay.
That's the way you pronounce it.
Well, there you go.
So he did all the album covers in the late 70s up to Point of Entry.
Right.
I think all of them from Stained Glass to Point of Entry.
Point of Entry, I really liked. I really liked Point of Entry until I realized, years later, after I had grown up, that's paper laid out on the ground. It's not a highway. It's not a runway.
That's not the original cover.
Oh, that's not. What is then?
It's not. That's a cover with which the album came out, was released in the United States. The British cover, the original cover.
Uh-huh.
It's very different. It's kind of it's very abstract.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a wing of a plane.
No kidding.
At sunset.
No kidding.
Just look it up. Original Point of Entry album cover.
Right. I mean, I've had Point of Entry for cassettes and maybe a CD for years. And no.
Yeah, and I think the band hated the American cover because it has nothing to do with Judas Priest.
No kidding. It's like a computer paper or something.
Nothing to do with the band.
Right.
It's just it looks like a Talking Heads album cover. I don't know what it is.
Right. All right. I'm going to have to let you go. We're going to have to get off of here. We've about run out of time. Where can we find everything that you're doing right now? I mean, we know ClaudioBergaminArt.com. Your YouTube.
That's my online store.
Uh-huh.
Bergamin. It's bergamin.art.com.
Okay.
That's my online store. My website is ClaudioBergamin.com.
Right.
You can also find me on Facebook.
Yep.
Facebook /ClaudioBergamin.art.
Right.
And also on Instagram. And I also have a YouTube channel where I've been uploading all the episodes with them.
That's what you guys need to check out. Check these out, man.
I have I'm gonna drop a bomb on you.
Okay.
In a couple of weeks, or maybe next week, not sure yet if I have the time to do this.
Okay.
I'm going to do a special show with Richie Faulkner.
Awesome.
So that's going to be released probably within the next 2 weeks for all the Judas Priest fans.
All right, man. So you guys hear that, right? Go check those videos out. They're awesome. They're really cool for Kiss fans. And what he just said, are you kidding me? It's going to be great. Thank you so much, Sarah. We appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for having me, and I'll see you next time.
Next time, buddy.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Explore the darkness.
Find out what goes bump in the night. Did you hear that?
Did you see that? What's that bright light in the sky? Oh, we so need to investigate.
Calling all witches and sensitives.
Explore the paranormal.
With host
Shauna
and Vicky.
From Geeks Paranormal.
Wednesdays
at 9 Eastern.
8 Central.
Let's explore. On ParaXRadio.com.
He is such a great guy. Be sure to check out his website and the YouTube video series. One more before we go. Vic Strola, gunboat from the movie Darkness Falls. If you haven't seen it, I suggest you do. Hey, this is Lee. If you missed tonight's show or any other show, you can always check them out in the archives on the Para-X Radio Network, or you can go to our website and click on any of your favorite apps.
This is the Dead Zone Paranormal Radio Show.
Thanks for listening.